Just want to give you a really quick preview of what we're going to be building in Chapter 3. So this chapter is all about creating applications that have multiple activities in them. And remember, an activity is kind of like just a screen. And how you transition from one activity to another. So in Android, we use intent objects to transition from one activity to another. So I've done the project up to page, I think it's page 93 at this point. And if you've been following along with the book closely, you would have run the app once already before this step right here. But what I want to show you here is the main idea is using intents to transition from one activity to another, and also sending information from one activity to another. So we've created the first activity here, which is create message activity, I think is what they called it in the book. So we've got a button and an input box. This is actually an edit text control in Android, but I always think of them as input boxes. And I can type something in here. I've got to pull up the keyboard emulator, and so I'll just type in hello. And then once I hit this send button right here, we've written code, or if you haven't done this yet, you'll write code that creates an intent object when this button is clicked, and it'll take this string right here that the user enters, and it'll put it into that intent object as an extra. So I realize that most of you probably haven't started this yet, so this is going to sound pretty foreign to you, but just wanted to give you a preview of what you're doing. So once I hit this button right here, that intent object will be created. Hello will get stuffed into it as information, and then it will get passed to the second activity. So if I go ahead and do that here, there you go. There you can see the second activity, which is called receive message activity, and we just have a text view here that basically spits out the information that came into the intent. So that's the main idea of what we're trying to do right here. Okay, I hope you can see this. What I want to show you real quickly here is what we're going to do with this project after page 96. This is chapter 3, and we're dealing with intents. So what we did before is we launched an intent, and we specified exactly which activity we wanted the intent to open up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to alter that intent starting after page 96, so that what happens is we're going to give it a specific type. In this case, it's going to be called a send intent, and we're going to say that it holds text. That's going to be the data type, and we're going to let Android do its work. What Android is going to do once we launch this intent after we make the changes, and there's just a few lines of code that you're going to change to change the intent, Android will go through all the apps that are installed on the phone, and it will look for activities that know how to handle this type of intent. So there could be one app that knows how to deal with it, there could be none, or there could be a whole bunch of them. So I'm just going to show you real quick what happens here. So I'll hit send here, and now instead of going to the activity like we did before, what I'm presented here is the chooser screen. So these are all the apps installed on the phone that know how to deal with this type of intent, and the data type that's in it. That we're going to specify text. So you can see there's quite a few apps that, on my phone at least, that know how to deal with these types of intent. So if I just go ahead and hit Gmail right here, I could go ahead and send my text, which I just punched in a bunch of H's, so you can see that right there in the text of the email. And all I would have to do is enter an email address and hit send, and I've got instant email functionality built right on my app. Now, this is a really cool feature of Android. For my app to be able to send emails, I didn't need to build an email activity for it. I can just launch an intent with the information about the email, and Android will find all the email applications installed on the app that know how to deal with that text. So I'm going to go back and show you one more thing here. Hopefully I can get back to the chooser. Let's see here. Now, so like I said, this is called the chooser, so you can choose which activity or which application you want to deal with this intent. And down at the bottom, I hope you can see this, is there's a button that says always and just once. If I were to hit the always button here, then that means anytime that type of intent gets launched on this phone, it would just use Gmail because that's what I'm about to choose right here. So you wouldn't see this chooser screen. Instead, it would just go right into Gmail like what we saw a minute ago. But if I hit just once here, then I'll always see this chooser screen. But chapter 3 will give you some information on how to deal with this. Now, the reason why this is running on my phone is because the emulator makes it difficult to install applications. So if I tried to do this on the emulator, there might not be any apps installed on the emulator that know how to deal with that type of intent. So there's a quick preview of what's next in chapter 3.